Hey everybody, and welcome back. In this video, what we're going to talk about is the long arm versus the short arm. Because believe it or not, Mr. Hogan, just like all of us, he was a tinkerer until he found out what was going on. So what I mean by the long arm, you'd get here and you'd be like this, the long arm. See how it's straight? And then this is going to promote this type of an action, which is something I strongly believe in. But when you start understanding this is done with the short arm, it's going to, and what I mean by a short arm, if you guys look at that Glenn Ford picture online where Mr. Hogan's got Glenn Ford like this, right? And he's got this distinct bend in his arm. This is what I mean by the short arm. Now think about this, and you can find that picture online. It's clearly evident. He did not put Mr. Ford in this straight arm position like you see so many golfers in today. He didn't. Go look at the picture. You'll see it for yourself. So all of a sudden, to get this, now think about this. Golf, the way it is taught today, on the way the modern techniques and methods and all these different things, it's like, let's get this incredible width. But there is not a sport, and I'm telling you right now, and if there is, please tell me what it is. Leave it in the comments below, because I just don't know. Baseball does not get out here and go, here comes the pitch, I'm going to leave my arm straight, and then I'm going to go this way. Doesn't happen. They're going from long to narrow to through the ball, where Mr. Hogan with the short arm went from narrow to wide through the ball. Okay? Now, with everything that I've been showing you over these past couple of videos, when you get the hand set up correctly and you've got everything set up and you take that club away, you can see at this position, because again, you've heard me saying the elbow is pointing at the ball in certain places, and it absolutely is, guys. It's pointing in the direction of the golf ball, which is going to allow us to go into better rotation. But the long arm this way and going like this is not it, and then trying to keep that long arm to get to the top. Because when you're set up the way he did with his grip, the pistols are pointing down, we've taken it away here, now let's go into this rotation with this long arm, and you get to the top like this. And that, let me tell you, for a lot of people, this is a world-class position. World class. And you can get here, no big deal. But now let's look at it with the short arm. So now all of a sudden I'm going to go here, and I'm going to be like this. You really can't tell the difference, but one arm there's a bend in it. See the bend? And one is straight. The bend, like this, would be like a baseball player. They're standing here. They're ready for the pitch to come. They're doing everything. They trigger. That arm is bent. It's bent. It's not, they don't go trigger and go like this. They're going to strike out. They're going to strike out. They won't be playing in the majors. Everybody says, well, baseball and golf, they're not the same thing. BS. BS. Oh, baseball players, they got all these different moves and all these different things. BS. I'll call anybody out on it right now. You can tell me, oh, golf, it's the golf swing plane is up here, and the baseball plane is up here, and the ball is down here. They're two different planes. Yeah, they are. And then there's a plane here, and a plane here, and a plane here, and a plane all the way up to infinity. But until you start really realizing, even with this great grip, posture, shaft alignment is neutral or maybe even negative, and then we take it away, now we're going to get these positions, my arm has a slight bend in it. And that's the difference between the short arm. And then when you're coming down, see how, remember I talk about this elbow doesn't turn back into the body, but the way that the short arm causes it, instead of the elbow going around with the long arm, these are subtle differences. The short arm, instead of it going around like this with the elbow and going here, it's actually causing, the short arm causes the rotation. It's still coming on the left side. It's still working around our body. We are talking details right now. Minute details in the differences between the long arm or the short arm See this? It's still the same movement, but now it's forcing some of these different things to happen, and then it just works. But when you can start understanding these things are from a master, the master ball striker of all time. Whether you want to agree with that or whether you don't, doesn't bother me one bit. But the reality is, Mr. Hogan was the best ball striker in the world, period. And when he made these adjustments to get his grip one way, get everything neutraled out, he could see the 90-degree angle, his hands aren't in front of him, which we've covered, everything's here. Now, this way, and then all of a sudden, I've got the short arm. Now I'm at the top. There's my recenter. Here comes running out of the block. Here comes everything else, and then boom, right into the ball. So watch what else the short hand or the short arm covers. And I'm going to put my right hand on top of my left, not my left hand in front of my right. So you'll be able to see this a lot better and really understand what we're doing. So I've got these great grip. Pistols pointing down here. Now I'm going to go to the top. And when I'm at the top, I've got this bend. And then when I come down, the arm is going like this. A lot of people are going to call this tipping the shaft, but it's not tip the shaft. It is a natural occurrence to what's going to happen as you come down. So even though this is coming down behind me, the arm feels like it's tipping the shaft this much. But it's not tipping it up. It's tipping it. It's going up, but it's laying down. So this one's kind of, you got to really understand. Like some people are like, okay, it's here. We get here. Go to the top with the short arm. Mr. Hogan's coming down, and he tips the shaft. And he does with the short arm. But he's not tipping it up. He's here, and it's like, okay, because he went under. It's tipping. And a lot of people think, oh, this is why you got to move your hands and rotate your hands down and all this crap. But the reality is simple. Here, short arm, come down. And when you come down, because the hands are moving from the backswing plane to the downswing plane. Backswing plane, downswing plane. So all of a sudden, they go from here to the downswing plane. And it feels, if you had the backswing plane, we understand the downswing plane, backswing plane, downswing plane, 7.5 degrees. So now all of a sudden, when he's tipping that shaft, he's just finding the downswing plane. And then from there, everything just comes into the ball. Pretty simple stuff. But the difference is short arm versus long arm. And Mr. Hogan made that change. He went from a long arm to a short arm, point blank. And when you can understand this, it's really going to help your game. And you can try it, and you can say, okay, I'm going to do what everybody's telling me to do. I'm going to try to get this width. You do all this stuff, and you're like, okay. So think about this. Think about this logically for a minute. If I have a long arm, okay, which is what Mr. Hogan figured out, okay? With the long arm, this shaft, based on from my shoulder to my wrist to my hands that are holding the club, this club is now the furthest away from me. Oh, let's get this width in our swing. Let me show you this a different way. Let's get this width in our swing, get both of our arms feeling like they're out here, go to the top, pick it up. My hands are so far away from me. Think of it this way. Figure skater. She pulls her arm, I'm saying female figure skater. I'm sure there's male figure skaters, which there are, world-class professional athletes. When they go into that pirouette move, when they bring their arms in, their body can rotate more. When they move their arms out, they are slowing down. So think about this. So I'm going to now do this wrong. I just told you, figure skater can go into a really quick circle when they bring their arms in. Okay, well, if I'm moving my arms out, they are not following the concentric circles, remember that I talked about. They're not following, but now because my arm is getting what Mr. Hogan called the short arm, and it's coming around my body, I still have the potential, like the figure skater, to rotate and be more connected and bring, instead of the club out here, now I'm bringing it closer back into my body. But I'm not doing this garbage. Not once am I saying that. But what I am saying is, let's get the short arm. And then from there, the short arm is going to stay there. And then everything is going to get long through the ball. And we've all seen where Mr. Hogan's like this, goes up here, goes to the top, short arm, short arm, short arm, short arm. Here comes the club. Here it comes into the ball. There it goes through. Here it comes up on the other side. And everybody's like, my gosh, when Mr. Hogan gets here and he's got the short arm and he's coming there, look where the hands are, they're up. He's still coming through. Look where this club head is at. And then all of a sudden this club head goes down to the ground, comes through the shot, and you push everything through. And that's because of the short arm. Now look for the next video, because I'm going to show you an amazing way to think about this. So hopefully that helped. We'll look for you in the next video.